The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch UK Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised. You're listening to Paranormal Concept right here on Parasearch UK Radio with your host, Paul Brook.
Good evening and welcome to the Paranormal Concept Show. Now, I know you're used to hearing the lovely dulcet tones of my lovely Paul Rook, but unfortunately he's not able to make it tonight. He had other commitments, but don't you worry, he hasn't gone far and he is absolutely fine. It was just something else he had to take care of today, so he wasn't back. But I am in the studio for you tonight and I've dragged in my Paulie, my coughing and spluttering co-host, Gemma. Good evening, Gemma. How are you?
Hi, darling. How are you?
Oh, you're sounding a bit brighter tonight, I have
don't.
to say.
I'm not feeling it. I think it is just all the painkillers. I'm not even going to lie. I'm glad that nobody can actually see me because it's not a pretty sight.
Well, I'm glad the flu medicines are taking hold and they're getting on top of it. Because I was a little worried last night because you weren't yourself, love. You weren't yourself.
Oh, no. Shock horror.
Proper snot fest going on, wasn't it?
I was like, no, why today? It's sod's law, though, isn't it? You know, you're going to get poorly when you've got a show to do.
Oh, guarantee it. Absolutely guarantee that one. But we're here. It is Tuesday evening, and we are... Right, we were looking for a topic, knowing Paul wasn't going to be here. So we were looking for a topic last week, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm sure, I'm just going to put this one out there. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the only reason Paul isn't here tonight is because we're covering this topic.
I think you could be right. So, because we decided to talk about... I can't believe me and you are doing this one. Quite frankly, you know. So we haven't covered cryptozoology for a while. So we sort of went down that route with the crypto and had a look around. And we came across some accounts of, and there's no other way of putting this, big-assed spiders. Now, we're not talking little house spiders or even huntsman spiders from Australia that are quite big. You know, they're the size of not a dinner plate, a side plate, aren't they, the huntsman?
They're horrific.
Oh, they are horrific. Whatever way you want to look at it, I would just like to say you've got two arachnophobes talking about a subject.
Doing the research for this show, these are the sort of moments that I wish people could see, because obviously we were sat chatting, we was on video call so we could see each other, and the faces and the noises that was coming from us just reading and seeing the pictures for this topic, and then we was like, so we're actually going to do this.
Yeah. It was hysterical. And lots of, oh my God, no, get rid of the picture. Why are we doing this?
I did not sleep a wink that night. I had to keep checking around my bedroom for spiders.
I know. And we don't even have that big, they're not that big in the UK considering what other countries have.
Oh, I know, but I mean, the fear of spiders. Okay, so let's just look at that on its own. Okay. So,
hold on. Thank you so much, Deza, for joining us, and Paul and Sam. They're in the chat room. Deza has actually said...
they're all laughing, aren't they?
He goes, I can't actually believe he's listening because he's terrified of spiders.
Welcome to our world is all I'm going to say.
And I told you Paul would call me out on what I called the show.
Yeah, has he told you off?
He's already told me off. Anyway, carry on. Arachnophobia. Let's talk about arachnophobia to start with.
Yeah, arachnophobia alone, it affects more than 1 in 10 people in the US alone, and at least 59% of the population in the UK.
That's
massive.
Sense. It's massive, but it doesn't make sense because in the UK they're not as big as what you would get in like America or Australia.
I know, but I'm not being. I know why I don't like spiders. Do you know why you don't like them?
Yeah, because they jump out on you when you're moving stuff. So you're like in the garage or something, and you move a box, and there's a big ass spider looking at you, and they face you down as well. They're like, "Yeah, come on, I'm gonna have you."
I'm having that pizza. I'm getting in your bed. No, you're not. You're getting sucked up the Uber.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's what happens when they come in my house, everybody.
Oh, I can assure you no spiders were harmed in the making of this show.
But that is a huge figure, isn't it, when you think about it? That is a huge figure for a phobia to have taken hold. So do we know why people have a fear of spiders?
Well, there has been quite a few studies done on this, in all fairness. I know there was one done in the University of London. And I think there was something like 118 undergraduate students with a fear of spiders that was all used in this this study. And this is the funniest bit about it, because we was looking at this and it was like we was reading as to why people are scared of spiders. And one of the reasons was the legginess.
They've got 8 legs, everybody. That's what we're all scared of, just the 8 legs. Oh, my God.
Seriously. I'm scared of spiders because of the legginess. No, I'm scared of them because they're huge. They're horrific. They've got more eyes than I have. They've got more legs than I have. And they can move pretty goddamn quick. And it's the erratic movements, because it's not like they're just taking a stroll like we would down to the shop. You know, they're all over.
Oh, yeah. Oh, tell me about it.
Under your bed. They're on your bed. They're in the corner. They're on top of your skating board. No, go away. Get out.
Just don't enter the house, everybody.
Just pack your bags, spiders, and move out.
Oh my God. So these studies that were done, did they actually come up with any conclusive evidence at all about why? I mean, other than legginess, I mean, who came up with that? That's a tech term, isn't it, right there? That's a stickman thingy kind of thing.
Exactly. We was like, what even is legginess? You know, but no, I think it's more the erratic movements and the so many limbs, I think, is what they came up with.
All the better to grab you with.
Well, I can quite honestly sit here now and say that I am actually looking around for spiders already.
I'm just like trying to avoid looking around. Even
the dogs like agree. Spiders.
Where's the spider? Where's the spider? Scared of them himself. Now, there was a gender bias as well with arachnophobia as well, wasn't there?
Yeah. Apparently,
strange this.
Yeah, shock horror. Apparently, it's mainly us women.
Now, is this a male ego thing though? Like, because us women would go, "Oh my God, spider man, sort it out," and the man generally has to suck it up and put his brave boy pants on. And deal with it for us scaredy cat women. It's the hero damsel in distress syndrome thing. So maybe, possibly, I'm not saying this is, but...
Well, we know Paul Ruck don't like spiders, because that's why he shied away from tonight's show and made out he was busy. Desert is in the chat room, and he's already admitted that he's not a big fan of spiders. Mr. Nib, he's not a massive fan of spiders either. So I don't think that it is all women. I think it's just we're more honest about the fact that we do not like them.
I think you could be right. I love the fact that Paul has just said he stamps on them. Yeah, right. I get my slipper and I bang the hell out of them if I haven't got my Hoover to hand. I will say that, you know.
See, I can't even do that. Do you know why? Because I've got to put that shoe or that slipper back on my feet and it will leave me going, oh, for days. what if it was a mummy spider? A mummy spider was pregnant, and when you squashed it, you got an egg, a spider egg, or however they're born. I don't even know how spiders are born, or the eggs are the hatched. I don't know.
They do a sack. They do like a little silk sack and fill it with their.
Well, they could keep
their
the silk sack.
eggs.
I don't want it. But what if an egg like cockroaches?
Oh no! Don't even talk about cockroaches.
Yeah,
We're not going to talk about bugs.
If you
like
squash
this.
them, you can carry a cockroach on your shoe and bring it home with you. What if it's the same with spiders? So what if squashing it, you're just spreading the love?
I'm actually freaking right this second because there's no way I would be anywhere near a cockroach. Is just the point, really. I wouldn't even try and kill it. I'd move out. I would be moving out and leaving everything behind if there was cockroaches around. But no, spiders, they lay, they have a silk sack, and you tend to find them in the corners of windows. That's what you'll find, the little silk sacks in the corner of windows. And if you break the sack at the right time, then hundreds of baby spiders come out. But we don't, it's fine. It's fine because that's not what we're actually going to be talking about. We're going bigger than the tiny ones. We're actually going bigger. Right.
Oh.
So...
No.
So spiders, we are monsters compared to the spiders we have in the UK. Even the big, like the hunter spider. We don't have, obviously the hunter spiders like they have in Australia, but we have the big-bodied, big-legged ones, not the current bun ones.
Hairy black ones that stroll across your floor looking like they own the place.
Yeah, like they're the big bouncer ones of the spider world, aren't they?
The ones that come with their own postcode.
That's the ones. Yeah. They're about as big as we get in the UK, right?
That's plenty big enough.
Oh, I've only just gone and got a bloody spider on me, ain't I?
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not bloody kidding. Flipping Nora. I nearly expelled expletives then. Jesus, it was only a small one. Oh my God. Now I'm wondering where it came from. Was there a mummy spider above me dropping babies on me? Oh my God. Right. So anyway, back to topic. Focus.
Oh God, why are we even doing this?
So that is about the biggest spider we get in the UK. And so compared size-wise from us to that, we are huge, right? We are like the giants of the world compared to that. That is not nice to deal with if you're phobic, but you can deal with it, right? Most of the time you get the current buns, you know what I mean? Or you get garden spiders. When you're doing your gardening, you'll find a garden spider, which are freaky enough as it is because they're just horrible. But at the end of the day, considering that, there is no logical explanation, is there, really, as to why there is this huge, mass 59% in the UK, fear of spiders. I mean, we haven't even got venomous spiders to the point of other countries. I know that I know Paul was telling us that one of the spiders is like the most venomous, but it's got no teeth or something silly like that, wasn't it? So it's not
got the fangs to burst the skin, so even though it's got the venom, it can't actually harm you.
Which is like really God's joke, really, isn't it, on the poor spider? Going to make you the most poisonous spider in the world, but you're not going to be able to use it.
You can't do a thing about it.
But if you live in Australia, I could understand that fear being there, because if they bite you in Australia, I mean, it's quite a serious thing, isn't it? But in the UK, we haven't got that. So for a 59% phobic rate, I just don't understand the phobia of it, really.
I think if you think like going back to films, so, you know, arachnophobia being one.
Never seen it.
You've never seen it? Are you kidding?
No, it's got bloody great big spiders in it, love.
It has, yeah. But it was designed to do exactly what it says on the tin. It was designed as a scare tactic, and I think personally, I watched it and it scared the living daylights out of me, without a doubt. There is studies to say that if you have a phobia, try spending time around that thing that you've got a phobia to. So like spiders, for me, it just makes me 10 times worse. Yeah, I don't want to be any closer than I have to be.
No, I don't want to be any closer than I have to be either. I deal with them because I have to. Because one thing I was aware of was trying really hard. I probably failed in this, to be fair. There is such a thing called conditioning and passing phobias down to your children, right? So one thing I really wanted to be aware of was not passing my fears down onto, I've got 2 boys, right? Not that that should matter. but I kind of didn't want to pass my phobias over onto them. So I just wanted to, so I just deal with things like that. I just get on and deal with it. I don't make a big song and dance. I just get on and deal with it. But how much of it is it growing because of this conditioning by other people? Because the most of the people I know would just get on and deal with it. They wouldn't like it. They most certainly generally wouldn't do the glass and scoop factor and gently release into the universe. Do you know what I mean? They might do it from a long distance with a Hoover tube. You know what I mean? But they would generally just get on and deal with it. So how
See,
much
I don't.
Is... No, you have passed that fear on to your children, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I really have passed it. So my kids have been conditioned, bless them. My daughter is worse than my son. She's like me. If we have a spider in any of our bedrooms, we will not sleep in it for a week. We will go sleep on the sofa. It is that bad. Whereas my son's a bit more laid back, and he's more just get me the Hoover, Mum. I'm not going to pick it up. I'm not going to move it outside, but get me the Hoover and I'll deal with it. I mean, This is the boy that said to me, because you know my house is like a zoo anyway.
Yeah.
He wanted a tarantula.
No, it's just a big fat no right there, isn't it?
Exactly, not happening. And he's like, but I'll keep it in its enclosure. And I was like, the only enclosure a spider is going to be getting into in my house is the Hoover, and that's when you've hoovered it up. So no, son.
No, and you can't, to be fair, you wouldn't actually be able to hoover that up, would you? A tarantula. I think even Henry,
you'd still get it in a pipe. It might make one of those noises.
I think, yeah.
You'd feel it rattling down the pipe, wouldn't you?
See, spiders I can deal with. God, she's just having a right cringe moment now, thought of that. Spiders I can deal with. If it was beetles, on the other hand, not a chance, right? The beetle thing, I can't do the beetle thing, right? But anyway, spiders. So how much of this is conditioning, we don't know. But they reckon that spider trauma actually occurs during childhood. And so
my phobia could be my brother's fault. He locked me in the shed where there was loads of spiders.
Yeah, so if you trace it back, then there's an event that would have happened possibly in your childhood where you came eye to multiple eyes.
Oh God, no.
The trauma that, is buried deep in. I mean, for you go, okay, I was locked in the shed. I can't think of a specific incident, but I know my mum's terrified of spiders, so mine could quite possibly be just a conditioning fear, which is why I can actually cope with the clear up factor. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know.
You're braver than me. You're braver than me. I mean, the only other thing that I can think of where my fear of spiders came from, and I was telling you when we was discussing even considering doing this show, when I was little, I had tonsillitis really bad, so my throat had swollen. Couldn't really swallow, so I was dehydrated, had a temperature and very poorly, which led to me hallucinating. And I remember being laid in my bed, which was facing the door, and seeing this huge spider that was that big it couldn't even get through my door, and it was trying to come and get me. And I know, now that I'm older, that was just temperature, dehydration. It was illness. But I can still remember seeing that spider clear as day.
Yeah, so in your fever, that's what your subconscious pulled forward as a fear and came forward for you. I mean, God, that's quite... But that would... Even though you're aware as an adult that was a fever hallucination, we'll go with, or dream.
Yeah.
It had that fear factor for you and sort of would have solidified that fear.
Yeah, I mean, I said to you, though, when we was talking about this, there's a good chance that there was a spider in the room. A money spider.
It'd be that big, love.
No, it'd have probably been a money spider, but because of the illness and the temperature, everything becomes exaggerated, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
But I think that just being ill and having to put up with that anyway, I think that's enough to make the startings of a fear, shall we say?
Do you think?
Oh, and then throw into that god-awful film, Arachnophobia.
See,
and your brother locking you in a shed.
Yeah, I wouldn't even go near it. I wouldn't go near it, to be fair, the Arachnophobia, the film. Tornado sharks, yeah, no problem. Snakes in the jungle, Congo, no problem at all. Give me a spider film like that, not a goddamn chance. Not going to happen, no.
I mean, Paul Rook's in the chat room, and he's blaming Aragog from Harry Potter.
Well, I dealt with that, actually. I think I dealt with that without a problem. Did you deal with have you seen Harry Potter? You have seen Harry Potter.
I love Harry Potter. I'm waiting for my invite to Hogwarts.
So, how did you deal with that particular?
Still didn't like it. I still did the no, just no. No.
Shutting my eyes, I can't see it. Oh dear.
Anyway, when I was with my kid's dad, he had a van, his works van, and he had resident spiders that lived in there, and I would not get in that van, full stop.
Resident spiders.
He had resident spiders. He was like, they don't come near me, they can stay on that window. And I'm like, no.
Anyway, let's have a look. Because one thing's for damn sure is arachnophobia is definitely not going anywhere, right? It is definitely a really cultural, in-depth fear, I would say, no matter where the hell it's come from. And there is studies to suggest it's genetic. But there's nothing proven, really. I mean, it's. I would say a lot of it's pretty inconclusive. They're drawing conclusions, but it's definitely around to stay. So we sort of kind of like thought, well, okay, so it's bad enough thinking about the ones in different countries that we know about, but in the cryptozoology world, there are even bigger ones.
Oh my God.
Right.
I actually posted a picture on the Parasearch tweet this morning of a picture of one of the spiders that we're going to be discussing. And I had a few people message me that were just simply said there was no need for that.
Thank you very much, but no, thank you.
I mean, there's one picture and it's a spider on the side of the house.
Oh, that's been known as fake,
that's
though.
fake.
We know it's fake, yeah.
But how
yeah.
much do we know? How much do we know of these myths that we're going to be discussing tonight? Are they fake?
Well, the thing is, down in the deep, dark Congo, there's a lot of forestry, we'll go with, or jungle, that is pretty unexplored still. And they're still finding new species down there, even to this day, And I was talking once to Jay Lynch and said they've probably found all the big arsed animals. I mean, he was like, well, no, they've just found a new form of bear. Do you know what I mean? So, who knows what is left to be discovered? Because there are tales that are coming out of this area of spiders that are the size of a large monkey or a dog. Now, I just want that to sink in for just a moment. This is a spider.
What sort of dog are we discussing here? Are we talking Chihuahua or are we talking German Shepherd?
If you're looking at a large monkey, I would go chimpanzee. Not as large as an orangutan, or a gorilla. I would probably think more chimp, right? So I would go not Chihuahua size. I would probably go collie sort of size.
Oh, border collie, right?
Border collie size.
So we've got scale now, peeps.
Okay, so just let that sink in. This is without legs, by the way. This is just the body.
Yes.
So imagine the span with the leggy legs, the legginess of these spiders, right? Now the natives in the region refer to them as Chibafufi.
I'm glad you said that.
I can't guarantee that's the right pronunciation, Jen, but we'll go with that, right? Which basically literally translates to giant spider. Now, they allegedly look like tarantulas as well. So we're not talking like, well, no spider's pretty, let's be fair, are they?
We're not talking a pretty little spider.
We're talking like a dog-sized tarantula. Oh, that's just horrible, isn't it? Right, now the adults apparently exhibit a dark brown, and the leg spans put them anywhere between 4 to 6 feet. 4 to 6 feet. I'm literally, my skin is crawling right now.
It's said these types of spiders are said to prey on small animals, including birds, small jungle antelopes, monkeys, and various reptiles. So the good news is they don't want to feast on a human.
But there are alleged incidences of children going missing, and they reckon that these children this is what's got these kids. Let's just have a quick look at the. Chat room's gone very quiet all of a sudden.
Honestly, I mean these so-called animals that the spiders munch away on are meant to be trapped in webs, which we know is true anyway, because we know that that's how spiders catch their food. It's done through a web. Yeah. But these ones are strung out between trees because, the spider's that big. How else is it going to secure its web? It's not going to be able to do it from a leaf, is it?
No, it's like this big spider. It's not going to just do a tiny incy-wincy web, is it? It's going to
I mean, can you imagine 4 to 6 feet of spider pouncing out on you from behind a bush?
Right, I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm 5'2", right? This spider is bigger in span than me, or around that kind of size. Sometimes bigger, sometimes smaller, but generally, that's about me, right? That's how big this spider is.
The Kerry-sized spider, everyone.
The Kerry-sized spider. It just doesn't even bear thinking about. Right. Now, they obviously lay in wait as normal spiders do for something to walk into their web. Apparently, what they do is they do a small depression, and then they camouflage themselves by leaves, very similar to trapdoor spiders. You get the trapdoor spiders that flip up their lid and then pounce out, right, once something hits their web. And the guys the natives in the region, say that they're venomous. See, as if it ain't bad enough that they're big, they're venomous as well, everybody.
Yeah, extremely potent, apparently.
Right? And it don't take you long to peg it if you get bit by one of these. To be fair, I think I'd die of a heart attack. I don't think I'd need venom.
I think you'd probably lose a limb if you was bit by something that's 4 to 6 foot. I mean, I'd be dead anyway, yeah. I would have a heart attack. Seeing it, I would just die on the spot.
It wouldn't need to bite me. I'd just be like, oh my God, I'm dead now. Thanks, death
I mean, that thing's going to be able to run quicker than you anyway. Mm-hmm. And it's got 8 legs to help it move. We've only got 2.
Mate, seriously. I'm never going to the Congo or Africa.
Me neither.
It's just not going to happen. Anyway, so explorers, missionaries, natives have long told about seeing these massive spiders, but it's never actually been found by any scientists. So we'd just like to add this. It's almost like a urban legend, but they have been witnessed because it is a well-known tale, right? So if you talk to the natives, they're like, well, yeah, we've even got a name for them. Big-ass spiders.
Big-ass spiders.
That's what we call them. You know what I mean? But
one of the reports that was made by a married couple, wasn't it? Back in, was it 1938? Mm-hmm. Reginald and, was it Marguerite Lloyd?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, I can't, Kerry, you're going to have to take over. I can't even tell the tale.
Okay, right. Well, according to their tale, they were exploring the Belgian Congo region in there. That's where they were. And basically they spied a shape that came out from the undergrowth, crossed the road in front of them. And they thought it was something like a cat or a monkey or some, that kind of animal.
So sort of jungle animal critter.
Yeah. So they stopped their truck. So they're obviously on a road. They stopped their truck to avoid hitting it. That's how close they were to this thing.
I mean, as if you just let that pass. Just like,
not being
lollipop
funny.
Lady for these big-ass spiders.
But not being funny. If you thought it was a jungle animal, chances are you're already grabbing your camera, ready to have like a snap. You know what I mean? Like a selfie with the spider.
Oh,
but then they realised that when they stopped, they realised that this was actually a spider. That it wasn't. That it was a spider, and they reckon its leg span was 4 or 5 feet. And they were so shocked that you can imagine. By the time that they got themselves together to take a photograph of it, that this thing had gone. It had gone into the brush. Now, Mrs. Lloyd, bless her, reportedly was so upset by the incident that she demanded that they return home.
I mean, I can't blame her.
I can't blame her either. I wouldn't be there, to be fair. I'm sorry if there's any explorer single men out there. Don't come to me. I'm not going to go exploring with you.
Yeah, me either. Don't bother.
It's not going to happen.
Certainly not going camping in any woods after this.
No,
I mean, that's not the only report, though, is it? I mean, there was another report in Uganda. So it's not even like it's all specifically one area. This is all over.
This is all over. Yeah, that's right. Now, this one was reported in the 1890s by an English missionary named Arthur Sims. Now, he was exploring the shores of Lake Nyassa, and basically they're trekking along. They've got porters and whatnot, and one of them became how he got this into this situation is beyond me. He became entangled in a web, right? Apparently, this web was hugging the ground, so it wasn't like he walked into it through a tree. Like I think you might have seen that, but it was on the floor, and he got entangled in this web, and it was so strong that they really had trouble to break this webbing, the silk webbing that was entangling this guy. Now, whilst they're in the middle of this, trying to get him out of this web, 2, not just one. 2 giant spiders.
So the multiplying in the Congo, it was just 1. Pop over to Uganda, and they're starting to make a family. There's 2. There's mummy and daddy.
Mummy and daddy pops out. Now they reckoned that they were 4 feet across, and they pounced upon the poor man. That was. You can imagine everyone trying to help him. Just went, "What the heck? You're on your own meat."
yeah, I'd be gone.
He actually pounced upon the man that was ensnared in this web and bit him. Then Sims, good old Arthur, he got his pistol out and shot at them. But again, there are reports of people shooting at these spiders and them not actually like being affected by the shots. They just scare them. It doesn't hurt them. And but moments after being bitten, the guy died. Basically,
it reports of being delirious, having a fever, extremities swelling, and then deaf even. Like, I can't even speak. I'm that freaked out right now. Deaf, like, within minutes.
Yeah.
That is horrific.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting is that his extremities, so that's his legs and his arms, swelled up, allegedly, right? Which, actually, if you look at some snake venom, you see that it swells up into great big like black boils and stuff like that, don't you? So it seems very, it almost adds a credibility to it because of the explanation of how his body reacted to the venom. If you can see where I'm going with that thought. Anyway, moving on, there are more and more accounts of this. We were shocked, actually, weren't we? We thought, I won't talk about spiders, big ones, and it's not a problem. There won't be that many accounts, surely. But there were. There were more than you can give credence to, quite frankly.
We thought 1 or 2. That'll be all there is. Not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. There was lots.
Wishful thinking.
Oh, yeah. Now, William J. Gibbons, now he was actually out searching for sightings of an alleged dinosaur-like creature that is, again, this is a subject that's coming up very soon on Parasearch Radio, because there have been reports of modern-day sightings of dinosaurs. However, while he was actually out in the Congo searching for this, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the name of the said dinosaur, he was talking to their tribes, obviously, trying to find out to see if they'd seen this dinosaur creature and whatnot. But they were like, oh, no, not really, not on the dinosaur front, but we've seen great big spiders.
Yeah. There's no dinosaur here, mate. But what we can give you, Mr. Gibbons, is giant-ass spiders. Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
And go and enjoy that one. Now, apparently they get seen on a fairly regular basis, and to the point where they know their behaviour and life cycle and things like this. Do you know what I mean? So this is something that they live with. It became apparent whilst he was talking to the natives that this is something that they live with, they know about, that it's something they incorporate into their defences and stuff like that. Now, they knew the life cycle. I mean, they said that, now get this right, the spider's eggs, the giant spider's eggs, were white or pale yellow white and around the size of a peanut, right, which isn't too bad.
No, you see, a peanut is bearable.
Mm-hmm. Except they lay in clusters,
Yeah.
wrapped in webs in the underbrush. So again, they're ground. This is on the ground. Okay. The newly hatched young spiders,
Oh, God.
you know, like baby spiders.
Yeah, the babies.
The baby massive spiders.
Are a bright yellow.
Yeah. And what's
With
the
a purple abdomen, apparently.
Yeah, yellow with a purple bum.
I mean, like,
basically.
you're not going to see them from a mile off.
Well, in the
In
jungle.
green and brown surroundings, because it's a jungle, so we've got green and brown. There's this bright yellow with a purple abdomen that's just like, hello, I'm over here. I mean, when I first read that bit, I was like, are we on about spiders or are we on about butterflies?
Well, I was thinking, if you think about where they're living on the jungle ground, right, it's dappled because of the sunlight coming through. So the bright yellow, particularly think of the brightness of the sun out there. It's not like UK grey, is it? It's you're in the jungle. It's bright yellow.
Kerry, I am so sorry. I just need to stop you for a minute. The lovely Richard Clements is in the chat room. There's a medieval manuscript in the Essex Record Office telling people to avoid Canby Island.
Richard, I'm moving in. Don't do that, Richard, because I will move in with you, and then you'll be very unhappy very quickly, as many men have found out. You thought your ex-wife was bad.
I'm so sorry. Carry on, Kerry. Carry on, love.
So I was thinking that the bright sunshine, it is the bright yellow, you know, so they're possibly quite well camouflaged in the environment that they're in. It sounds quite, you know, if you put them in the UK, they're going to be like seen a mile away, aren't they? But put them in that environment, they may not be. Not quite sure where the purple comes in, because I'm not quite sure of the foliage and stuff, but
foliage, darling.
Foliage, you know.
Why are we not discussing foliage tonight?
I'm trying to keep off the spiders, I think is where I'm going with this. Anyway,
gradually, as these big ass spiders grow, they become a dark brown, and that's how I know. I'm guessing they know if they're mature.
Yeah, because they're then brown and not this beautiful yellow and purple combo.
I still call them beautiful, but carry on.
I wouldn't call them beautiful either, quite frankly, but there you go. And they ambush their prey by building a series of webs, not just the one web, but a series of webs.
Series of them.
Mm-hmm. On the game trails. Now, that's a little worrying, because if you was going to go hunting an animal, or you was going to go, like, you know, I would imagine hunters use game trails to set their
Yep.
It is, you know, a well-known fact, isn't it? So if you're like a native, you're going to be using these game trails as well, which is probably why they get seen, you know, they're quite, you know, they know about them, quite frankly. And again, they lay in wait in a tent covered with a pile of leaves, woven together with webbing, and apparently they're supposed to look like a pygmy hut. What they cover themselves up. Oh, well, I can't even think. Oh my God, is all I'm saying. A pygmy hut. Oh God.
I mean, the size of it as well. So a pygmy hut isn't exactly small.
I mean, they're small humans, but they're big ass spiders.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like context and all that. Now, they know that the venom is powerful and enough to drop a grown man in seconds.
Yeah.
And Gibbons also learned that they had an unfortunate habit of building their nests near the human settlements, like the native villages and stuff. But they had become rarer over the years. Now, that's that could be indicative of two things. Either they were being driven back into the habitat because of the native people, because I'm sure if they saw one close to their settlement, they probably would go for killing.
I'd move out. I definitely wouldn't still be living there. But yeah, I mean, if you was to be living in that sort of area and to be seeing these huge spiders on a regular basis, you would, you'd send the men out to hunt them down and get rid, wouldn't you?
You wouldn't let the women be like, no, we ain't sucking up them. Off you go, men. This is all
that
on you.
won't fit in my Hoover.
For our natives. I'm sure they haven't got a Henry to hand.
No, they didn't have Henry.
Or basically, because of habitation being cut down quite a lot, it was causing a dwindlement in their numbers, possibly. Who knows?
I mean, but these spiders, or the accounts of the spiders, has been heard of as recently as 2000.
Yeah. I mean, we've gone from 1890 to 2000. I mean, this is not something that's gone away. This isn't.
And
something
that was like Cameroon, so we're moving on as well.
Mm-hmm.
Do these spiders have their own airline that they're just like jump on a plane with a little spidery passport? Just checking in for me flight.
Just buy me bananas. Oh my God, there's a giant spider. You know,
Egg-leg Airways, here we come.
Buy a bunch of bananas and you get a giant spider for free. Now, obviously, the tribes are seeing these as real creatures. They're not seeing these as this isn't a mythology. This isn't something. This is something that they live with. They could detail life patterns. They could detail colours. They knew how they, progressed through from childhood of a spider.
From childhood.
From baby spiders to I don't know the term. From baby spiders to big ass spiders, adult spiders. Do you know what I mean? They knew the colour change. They knew their the way they
the habitats.
Exactly. Yeah. They knew a lot about them. So it definitely brings it into a real thing, not a mythology thing or an urban tale thing.
It's like real accounts, isn't it?
It is real accounts, right? And they're matter of fact about it as well, apparently. When they talk about it, they just were like, have you seen the spiders? You want a dinosaur? Well, you just check out the big ass spider, mate. Do you know what I mean? It was just like, I'm sure they didn't speak like that, but or maybe it was like, be careful of the spiders while you're going searching for a dinosaur. Just word warning. Ate the dinosaur, you got to worry about spiders. Do you know what I mean? But they just treated it like it was part and parcel of their life.
Yeah. I mean, that on its own is extraordinary, is the only word I can use. I mean, when we first looked into this, with the accounts and everything, I remember saying to you, do you think there was maybe something in the water stream? Was they all hallucinating? Had they been eating the wrong berries off the wrong tree? I mean, you have to look at it realistically. But apparently not. I mean, there is no documented science to suggest that these people aren't actually seeing these spiders, but the accounts are just so real.
And like you say, they're not just like focused in one small area. They are from lots of different areas of heavily habited by jungle
Yeah, and how many new do we call them breeds? How many new breeds of spiders have been discovered anyway?
Quite a lot.
And not just spiders, but animals in general.
Yeah, which is, we said that sort of at the top of the show. She's bloody shared bloody pictures to me now. That's just horrific. So, because I just don't stop sending me photographs of spiders.
Oh.
So anyway, right, so science have sort of like looked at this and they've gone, there is no way the physiology of a spider could support that size, right? Now, there are two main hurdles for spiders to get to the size that are allegedly reported. Now, the first is their breathing. Now, honestly, I never ever thought in the world of the paranormal and cryptozoology I'd end up looking at physiology of spiders' lungs. Right?
Yeah, I'm with you.
You're with me, right? They have something called a book lung. Right,
so it has hundreds of pages. It's usually enough long saying an hour.
Effectively, yeah. That look at it in that way, because it consists of stacked, alternating air pockets.
Yeah.
And tissue, and basically lots of little tubes that branch out into its body. Now, this isn't something that's just to do with spiders. This covers other insects as well. But the problem with this method of breathing, now, it's not a particularly efficient method of exchanging atmospheric gas. Right, you can tell we got into areas which we didn't really understand with this, can't you? Atmospheric gas, oxygen, surely.
So
it's just oxygen, right?
It's
is. Not very good at...
It's breathing in your carbon dioxide and exchange. Yeah, so that's exactly what is meant by that. Because I did actually spend time to actually make sure we was right in thinking that.
Like I say, it's amazing what you research when you're looking into certain things. Right, now, basically... The argument against that is, well, dinosaurs used to live on the earth and they could breathe, right? And there was lots of big-assed insects, we'll go with, in general. But there was a lot more oxygen in the atmosphere those days that would compensate for this method of physiological breathing system. So even though it's inefficient to support a large thing, there was the oxygen in the atmosphere was big. But we haven't got that in this day and age.
No.
And it's getting worse, actually, because of our human crap at looking after our planet. Now, so that was one argument as to why a spider could never grow that large. But it could be another argument as to why their numbers seem to be dwindling.
I don't have a problem with spiders dwindling at all. I mean... yeah, they are saying that with the oxygen and the way their respiratory system works, it puts a cap on how big the largest known spider can get today. So the largest known that we've actually got is the Goliath bird eater.
Yes.
Which can have a leg span of, up
even
to like nearly 30 centimetres, the size of a ruler. Mm-hmm. It weighs like 6 ounces. That's a steak. That's like... And obviously the huntsman, they're not so bad either. They're pretty big. So again, about 30 centimetres for the leg span.
Mm-hmm.
How is it even possible?
But that is sort of like the largest we know about. Do you know what I mean? They're kind of like, that's so far, that's the maximum size. So then to go to 4 or 6 feet, that's a massive jump. There's like no sort of in-between species of evolution.
So spiders like in Africa seem to have evolved a new type of respiratory system that can help these spiders grow to like 6 foot. I mean, exoskeleton of a spider, and this is something else that we went into, wasn't it?
Because
so we're looking at the respiratory system. So let's look at the exoskeleton and how is it possible, and could the muscles support and help this something of that size move?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's like armour. Basically, right? When you think about an exoskeleton,
it's like an ant carrying a tank.
Yeah, right. And so they're going to be strong. They've got to be strong. Now, muscular strength is largely a function of the width of the muscle at its widest points. So as an arachnid gets larger, the factor that determines it... I'm reading this bit, by the way, because I
don't blame you, yeah.
The factor that determines its muscular strength, the width, grows in 2 dimensions as the exoskeleton grows in 3 dimensions. So to put this simply, the weight of the exoskeleton is growing faster than the strength of the muscles that support and move it, right? So basically, at some point, its exoskeleton will become too heavy for it to carry or for it to even move. Now, generally, we know that they shed, don't they?
Yeah.
So basically, they're growing a new exoskeleton underneath the existing skeleton. So when the existing skeleton becomes too heavy, they've got a new one that they can carry. So they shed the old one. And there are some huge other species out there.
Oh, God.
That can
I know where she's going with this.
Mate,
I
seriously,
know exactly where she's going. It's that spider crab thing, isn't it?
It's the Japanese spider crab. If you don't know what a Japanese spider crab is, please, if you've got arachnophobia, don't go and look it up, because you will then be freaked
Actually,
out.
no. In all fairness, if anybody is actually scared of spiders or has arachnophobia, please have a look at it, because then you will know what me and Kerry put ourselves through to actually research this show.
But you will then develop a fear of crabs, is all I can say. Right, now this Japanese spider crab is 12 feet from claw to claw. Right, that's 3.8 metres. Now we're talking spiders that are bigger than this, right? No, we're not. They're 5 to 6 feet, aren't they? Whereas these are 12 feet.
12 feet, yes. So
right?
These are bigger.
These are huge, right? But they're a bit crunched up. They look like a massive lobster is actually what they look like, don't they? With 2 massive antennae things that we got. Oh, my God. Horrible. Horrific. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourselves. You're going to do it now, aren't you?
Deza has just said in the chat room, actually, I'm looking it up now.
Oh, my God.
Good
luck. Good luck. Good luck. Come back and tell us what you think.
Ashley Nibbers just said that is one hell of a seafood salad.
Oh yeah, I bet it's delicious actually.
Oh no, I wouldn't be able to eat it.
Well, no, if it's chopped up on your plate, love, I'm sure you'd be able to eat it.
Oh no, I've seen what these things look like.
If it came crawling across the floor of the restaurant, different story.
No.
Right, now, so anyway, that is what the Japanese spider crab is looking like, right? Now, another form of arthropod is the coconut crab. Look at that one. That's even freakier.
But they move really slowly. The coconut crab is alleged to move really, really slow. Mm-hmm. So I think I'd be able to handle that, because at least you could run away. Whereas, I mean, imagine this, right? So look up coconut crabs. As well, peeps, if you're listening, look it up. Look what they look like. They are vile. So imagine that, and then increase the size
to 4 to 6 feet.
To 4 to 6 feet, and a spider darting out of its hiding spot to capture prey.
Yeah,
or just scurrying through the jungle. So next time you're taking your dog for a walk around the woods, just imagine this huge ass spider just jumping out on you.
The coconut crabs are the ugliest looking things I think I've ever seen in my life, is all I can say. Is all I can say. Right? I love the fact that probably everybody in the chat room is having a quick Google to have a look at the Japanese crab. And these are crabs, bearing in mind. These aren't even spiders. And the coconut crab. But this gives you an idea of how the exoskeleton slows them down and restricts their movement. Whereas, exactly, which is one of the arguments as to against spiders growing this big, isn't it? And this is the thing. Now, we even did have a quick look. I don't think we've got the account here, but we did come across one that was seen in the UK, didn't we?
Oh, we did. See, I was trying to forget about that one.
I know you was.
I guess I'm not going to be that lucky, because that was a bit too close to home for my likings.
It was a little too close to home. Now, if my memory recalls, it wasn't that long ago, and it wasn't as big as the ones that they're talking about, but it was still about the size of a cat that was seen going across. I love Richard is now sharing links for the Japanese spider crabs into the chat room.
No. I'm not going to sleep again tonight.
So there was an account, but it wasn't verified. Apparently it went into an industrial area, over a fence and into an industrial area, and they thought it was a cat, but it wasn't. It was clearly a spider in the headlights of their car, but the accounts were unverified, and trust me, I don't think anybody went to have a look to see if they could track down this spider.
Well, I don't think anybody would be stupid enough, in all fairness. Why would you?
Yeah, but the cryptozoology world, they love this, don't they? They love this kind of case because they're all over it like a rash. I don't understand why people want to go and try and find a chupacabra, but they do. You know, or a vampire, blood-sucking vampire bat that's the size of a man, but they do. Or a
as opposed to a puppy-sized spider that inhabits a 30-foot-sized web. You know, yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I mean, why would you even want to go and raise money to do an exhibition to look for a dinosaur in the Congo in the first place, is what I want to know. But it doesn't float our boat, that's all, because we wouldn't even get past the normal foliage and fauna and foliage, let alone big-ass different things. But it is interesting to know that natives treat them as normal, everyday kind of, that's just what they live with. You know, I suppose back in the day... It's like
family, isn't it? It's like they're part of their family. It's like, oh, don't mind our George over there. He's just looking for his lunch.
Get the kids in. George is out, coming to play. Anyway, that was as far as we kind of got, because we had a complete freak down at that point and was like, enough of the spiders. So that was our little forage into the world of spiders. Massive, big-assed spiders. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show.
Oh, honest to God, like, I cannot believe we spent all this time looking at all this information about spiders in general, not just these giant ass spiders, but the respiratory system of a spider.
And the exoskeleton.
Why do we actually need to know this? Because I sort of wish I didn't.
One day in a pub quiz, that information is going to come important to us. Anyway, that is what Parasearch Radio is good at, bringing you subjects and topics from a whole spectrum of areas, not just looking at ghosts and hauntings. We like to look at all sorts of different things. Now, for the rest of the week, tomorrow evening, Wednesday, Haunted Histories. Penny is talking to the amazing Will Taboni all the way from Australia, where they have big-ass spiders.
Yes.
And they're talking about Coal Creek. In fact, I remember talking to Sarah Chimisero once, who is from Living Life in Full Spectrum and is doing supernatural synchronicities with our very own Ashley Nibb at the moment. So go check those out, right? Oh, Richard is still on it. I'm sure he wants me to move in. And so go check those blogs out.
Check your laundry basket.
So, guys, don't forget, go check out the Supernatural Synchronicities, because the feedback is needed. There's starting off discussion posts and bouncing it back between themselves. But get involved, because that is absolutely awesome. Now, anyway, she's talking with Bill Taboni tomorrow night, all about Coal Creek down in Australia. Then on Thursday evening, we have got PSH Radio going live and kicking at 9 p.m. Then on a Friday evening, we have got a very special show coming for you. As most of you are probably aware by now, myself and Ashley Nibb have been doing a research project for quite a long time. And Friday evening is the night that we bring this project to you. We are looking at the fundamental facts of 30 East Drive. The first hour, we are detailing the fundamental facts of the case. We're looking at the history of the case and some of the historical information that we have found out. And the second half of the show will be a discussion show. So please join us on Friday evening in the chat room, because we would love your input on that one.
In the chat room for the first half of Friday's show, I will be actually in the chat room chatting to everybody as well and writing down everybody's questions. So if you have got any questions as the show is going live, pop it in the chat room. I will write it down and I will make sure that Kerry and Ashley get that. But as Kerry just said, you know, for the first part, it is just the fundamental facts.
Mm-hmm. Saturday is my Q&A over on the Parasearch Radio group page. They're all out investigating, so I'm going to be like, well, that was quick. See you later, everybody. Bye.
It's all right, because we've postponed the event to start a bit later.
Oh, no. Then on Sunday evening, I am talking all about love spells or spells in general and spell casting and do they work with the amazing Victoria Zeskowski. So join us in there. Next week on the Paranormal Concept Show, Paul has just advised me that we're talking about werewolf cases.
Could be worse. It could be giant ass spiders.
Could be giant ass wasps or something, knowing Paul.
Oh, killer bees.
Killer bee. Oh, don't. Don't give him ideas. Don't. Just don't. Oh, Desi, we're out investigating Friday in Grimsby. That's a shame.
Oh, I'm in Grimsby on Friday, Desi. On account that I live here.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking, oh, no, but you're supposed to be in the chat room, Jen. Oh, dear. Well, you can listen on podcast, Des. That's no problem because all of our shows go to podcast and you can listen to them back here on Spreaker or pop over to our YouTube channel. And what do you need to do?
Kerry, no, nobody can do it like you, darling.
You need to click like, share and subscribe. And on that note, thank you so much for joining me tonight, Jerry. It's been an absolute fun doing this show.
You're very welcome. Thanks for the nightmares.
You're very welcome. And on that note, I'll see you all very, very soon. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.